Dear EVA members, on the 10th of December, we will have our conference under the theme Getting You Back on Track, during which we'll also celebrate our General Assembly, unfortunately in a digital online version this year. And during this General Assembly, we will also vote on our new EVA statutes. Why do we recast our statutes this year? Because there's a new Belgian code for associations and companies that came into force at the beginning of the year, on the 1st of January. And in a nutshell, what are the major amendments to this Belgian code? First, the possibility to carry out unlimited commercial activities, which was not the case before. Second, there is a cap for directors' liability, which is very clearly mentioned or has to be mentioned in the new statutes. There is also third, a simplification of the procedure to switch from a non-profit association into an international one and vice versa. That was much more complicated before. And also the free movement of associations from and towards Belgium. That was also a very complex procedure that has been simplified also in the context of free movements of companies and associations in the European Union. And why is it important to amend our EVA statutes? We would like to benefit from the advantages offered by the new code, such as the possibility of commercial activities. We know every association tries now to diversify the revenues and not to be completely dependent on membership fees. We sell our market report, we sell some sponsoring also when we organize events. This is now clearly allowed, and we can make some profit from events or from selling different services or products. And this is quite beneficial to associations, and we would like to take advantage of that. It's also to avoid any potential contradictions between the current statutes and the new codes provisions, the latter prevailing in case of conflict. So we can avoid any legal dispute if everything is very clear. And it's also an opportunity after 26 years now to clarify rules, procedures, liabilities, and rights of the different bodies of the association. You know that the current statutes have been amended several times, and there are a lot of unclear rules or procedures. And I think, or the executive committee took the decision that it was also time now with the amendments that are necessary to be compliant with the code, also to clarify some rules. What are the main changes? You will, of course, have the possibility to read the full new statutes, which are more than 40 pages long, but you can study them in detail. You will see there are a lot of things which are a bit explained in a bit longer, more legal terms, but it's really to give certain protection to the different bodies. Here I would like to portray the main changes. For example, in Article 4, as mentioned before, we can now pursue activities of commercial nature. So the object of the association has been widened to the activities we carry out or we could carry out in future. In Articles 5, 6, 7, the membership categories have been renamed, but rights and the membership conditions remain exactly the same. So we have a full member with voting right, becoming a full member association with voting right, and direct member with voting right becomes a full member company with voting right. Means there is no differentiation between a full member, which was basically before for associations only, and direct members, because both had anyway the same rights. So we categorize them both in the full membership. The supportive membership remains exactly the same with no voting right. And associate members become partners. Also to clarify here that these associations, because they are associations, do not have the same benefits and not the same rights than the other two categories. The number of proxies per member with voting right is also limited to 3. That was absolutely not written in our statutes. That was an unwritten rule that we have applied for the last 10-15 years. Article 21, the General Assembly shall be validly constituted if at least 25% of the full members are present or represented. In any case, the General Assembly shall always be constituted of at least 2 natural persons physically present. That was also, or is currently not mentioned in our statutes. In Article 21, we also mentioned really clearly now that the votes are issued by secret ballot unless a call out or a show of hands is requested by at least 1/3 of the full members present or represented. That was also an unwritten rule over the last years. Article 24, the term of office of the members of the EC. The Executive Committee is a 3-year term, indefinitely renewable. This is a step the Executive Committee would like to go. Many associations have already done it or have already a 3-year term. It makes completely sense because it gives more time to implement a strategy. I mean, everybody was agreeing that 2 years was extremely short, especially when you have years like 2020 with a crisis, where you cannot meet in person, when resources are limited, when you don't have really time to implement different actions. So we count on you. You will receive the statutes. You will be able to vote just before the General Assembly. Of course, we need a 2/3 of the total votes cast to get the statutes through, but it's a legal obligation, so it's something I really want to underline. The power of the General Assembly is strengthened. The rules and procedures are clear, transparent, and detailed, and the rights of the members remain exactly the same. So you have to keep that in mind. So basically, the recast of the statutes is not to change what we have now, it's just to make it clearer and more transparent. So we count on you to get these statutes adopted. If you have any questions, remarks, or doubts, you can join me for one of the 2 sessions I will organize on Zoom to discuss them live. So I will be available on the 17th of November and on the 24th of November, every time at 2 o'clock CET, so in the afternoon. And yeah, otherwise, in the meantime, I'm really looking forward to meet you on the 10th of December, and I hope very, very soon in person next year in 2021.